everybody, it's Wednesday, and I had a lot of trouble figuring out what I was going to do this week, and I went over a few different ideas and then came to this one, and it is based on a BuzzFeed article that was written 2 years ago almost, titled The 12 Things About Beauty and the Beast That Disney Never Answered, link in the description. I'm going to get through as many of them as I can in under 4 minutes, so we'll see how many I do. The first one on the list is, who the hell actually is this? This being the Beast. And that's a valid question. Nobody really knows. Nobody remembers that there's a prince living right outside their village in a giant castle. Nobody knows his name. Nobody knows who his parents were. But he's royalty. My theory as far as this goes is that part of the curse is that everybody forgets about the Beast. Everybody that lives outside of his castle no longer remembers that he's there. And maybe when the curse is broken, things change. That work isn't really done for us, so moving on. Also a very good question is, who in their right mind punishes an 11-year-old for vanity? 11-year-olds are children, and they can be cruel, but that doesn't necessarily mean you put a curse on them for 10 years. And that's where it begins, is that Lumiere says during Be Our Guest,
10 years we've been rusting, needing so much more than dusting.
But the curse is put on the Beast until his 21st birthday. Now what I think in this situation is that the wording is a little off, and it was done that way in order to keep the rhythm and the rhyming in Be Our Guest. He wasn't actually 11, and that he's actually been in this bestial form for 21 years. Now that would make what Lumiere said completely invalid, and then the question arises, how come nobody got older? But I think that has to do with the curse. I'm doing too much work. Another one of the questions BuzzFeed asks is, why are there so many faceless utensils and pieces of furniture that still move in the castle? And the Scrivener and I have actually talked about this before, in that we think that the things that have faces were once people, and the things that don't were not. They just are enchanted now because the curse is on the entire castle. That one seems to be the most logical of our explanations. How did Belle get the Beast onto Philippe's back after the Beast saves her from the wolves? That's inexplicable. Honestly. The Scrivener and I, knowing The Beauty and the Beast is our favorite movie, have talked about pretty much every aspect of this movie before, and the only thing that we can really come up with as far as this goes is that Belle is actually a superhuman and is very, very strong. She's like Mr. Incredible. That's the only explanation we can think of as to why Belle would be able to lift Beast up onto her horse and then carry him back to his castle. Why didn't Belle just tell the Beast that she'd come back when he lets her go? First of all, because Maurice is sick, and she's seen that in his magic mirror. She doesn't know how long it's going to be until Maurice is better, or until his health takes a turn for the worst. She doesn't tell him that she's going to be back because she doesn't plan on going back. She comes back later in the movie because she knows that the townspeople of her village are out to kill the Beast, and she doesn't want that to happen. It's really all in Belle's hands. Just because this movie happens to be one of my favorites, and definitely my favorite Disney movie, doesn't mean that I'm afraid to pick out the loopholes and try to fill them in. It actually means that I'm more inclined to do so in order to make sense of the things that don't make sense. So the Scrivener and I will see you next week. Have a good weekend!